Good day everyone, it is Caitlin and today we are making 1880s evening accessories. Well, hello and welcome. So we are going to be making some 1880s accessories today, starting with the shoes. So I purchased some white shoes. These are dyeables. I forget exactly who made them, but I do know it's called dyeables. And they are square-toed, which is good for 1880s, really 1860s, later 1860s, 1880s, and the heel is about to that time period as well. So I didn't want white shoes because I knew they were going to get dirty very quickly, so I figured let's go ahead and dye them. I had lots of options. I still had some of the Cabernet color that we dyed the 1880s ball gown with, so that would have been a really good choice to match the shoes to the dress. But as I was thinking about it, I realized that because these shoes aren't just 1880s, they could really be like later 1860s through the 1880s. It might be best to do something more neutral that would go with a variety of dresses, not just the one dress. So I opted for the everlasting favorite of black. So I'm going to be using the Rit dye, and I just have this wool dauber, which is meant for doing this to shoes, although usually I do it to leather shoes. These are actually fabric. And you just dip it in the dye, you basically paint the shoes. And it works really well, as you can see. It makes it very nice and dark. You gotta make sure you're getting all the little nooks and crannies. It's actually very satisfying to cover it in the dye. And you can see it works really well. They look really good in the black. And it's very simple to cover it. I mean, sometimes you get a little bit on the underside or whatever, but really it's not all that bad. It works out pretty well. But actually, dyeing shoes is one of my favorite things to do. If I could just find a job where I could just sit there and dye shoes all day, I think I'd be very happy with it. It's very satisfying to cover them like this, and I like the leather ones too. And even though I have to do a little bit more work with the leather ones, because generally you have to take off the coating that's protecting the current color, then dye them, and then you have to put a cover on over the dye to kind of seal it. It really wasn't a cover; it's just a seal to keep the dye color in place. These I didn't have to do that. These are meant to be dyed. They're fabrics, so it works just as well to simply put the dye on them and let them dry. So that was the longest part, was waiting for them to dry to make sure I'm not going to get black dye clogged on my stockings or anything. Just waiting for it to dry completely. And so it did take a couple of days to dry. I left them for about a week or so just to make sure that they were dry before doing the next part, which is to put ribbons on them. Just a little bit of decoration, because I'm looking at originals and most of them have some sort of decoration. Halfway through dyeing them, my fiance came in and was asking what I was doing. He was working on his own project, so he had to borrow my scissors, and I assumed that. And I probably looked a little strange dyeing my shoes black or painting them black with a little wool ball. Dyeing my shoes.
For 1880s?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
So moving on to the decorating phase of the shoes, I just took some black silk ribbon that I already had that was it was an inch wide, and I just made little bows with them, little tiny little bows, and I stitched them through to attach them so they are sewn in. With the shoes done, we're moving on straight to jewelry. So I'm just going to make a necklace and 2 earrings. I actually am just using stuff straight from the stash for this. I didn't even have to purchase anything. But this is what the earrings are going to look like when we're done. I looked at some originals, found some very similar ones, so decided we were going to go with that. So it's not a lot of pieces. It's just a little fish hook wire, little gold filigree ball, so like that with holes in it, makes it look all fancy. And then I have this little cameo, but it's a flower. It's not what we would think of as cameo with a person, but it's a cameo piece that is put inside a little gold setting. And I put that on the bottom, and I put the little filigree ball on top. Cut the rest of that wire off. Fold that in so that it gives us a nice little hook, and then I can just put the hook right on top. Now I have 2 earrings. And for the necklace, it's going to be super simple. I'm just taking a black silk ribbon, the same stuff that I used for the shoes, and I'm kind of catty-corning or biasing the end so it doesn't ravel. And I have a larger version of the same brooch or cameo. I'm just putting it straight on the ribbon, and I have a little necklace. I've seen a lot of these little choker type necklaces in the 80s, so I thought it was a really good choice to get that done. But with my jewelry being done, we can move on to talk about gloves. Also, we're not doing anything with them, but just to show you the leather gloves that I'm using for the 1880 stuff. They are long gloves. They are just like half a size too small, but they fit with some coaxing. It's really not the glove size that's too small, it's the upper arm, which is not going to fit because I have long sleeves on. But with coaxing, you can see like it does go up. So they do fit. They're just a little tight. They just need a little bit extra time to, I guess, mold my hand shape. But they do fit, and I just want to show them off. And then we're really not doing anything with them. Several years ago, I bought a lot of like 20 vintage gloves, all in my size from the same lady. And this is the only pair of long gloves that were in there, but then there were several other like short pairs of gloves that I used for like 60s stuff, and they're all really nice kid leather. And for like, $50 for 20 pairs of gloves was a really good deal. I think only 2 or 3 of the pairs ended up being unusable for any living history pre-1940, but that was still pretty good deal for kid leather gloves. So and they all were my size, so that worked out perfectly. But these are my long gloves I've saved, knowing that maybe one day I would use them, and well, the day has come because the 1880s used long gloves. Just want to show them off. I think next we're going to make a fan, and I don't know if there's anything else to this video. I don't think so. So working on the fan. And I just have some fan sticks. These are all wood ones. I bought them online. They had a nice little cotton cover that I just yanked off. And we're going to glue some ostrich feathers on there. Which I'm not going to show the gluing part because it takes forever. I'm using a period glue. And it's just, oh gosh, is it gum paste and water? I think that's what the period receipt is. And, oh my gosh, it takes forever to dry. So it's literally just sitting here. Just, painting the little things of glue, sitting here what seems like hours. It's probably not that long. But just sitting here until it's like hard enough to where it's going to stay. So I have one on there, but I figured I'd go ahead and attach the sticks. And I'm pretty sure there's a better, more period way to do this, but this is the way I'm doing it. So I'm just kind of lining them up the way I think they should be. I'm taking silk thread. I learned with fans it's best to do silk thread. Because when I use cotton thread, they all seem to break apart. The silk is very strong. So I wrap it down twice, my needle through, make a little knot, and I do that twice. Then I go to the next one. Line that up, wrap it around once, wrap it around twice. Make sure all the thread is down, all that, and put my needle through to make a knot. So that's basically what I'm doing with this. It's making the fan all nice and attached. And again, I will glue on the feathers one by one. It really isn't that interesting to watch. It's actually quite painful because it takes forever. But I'm going to have a nice little fan that looks basically like this. Feathers all across. And I have like multiple things of feathers. So I have these gray ones, I have brown ones, I have some cream ones. I decided to do gray this time. And here we are. So finished fan. I have misplaced my jewelry box, which is where the necklace is, but I have the earrings there, and of course the gloves. So that's what the fan turned out to look like. It is quite large. Here's my hand. I think it is large. Fans were getting a little bit larger 5 1880s. This may be on the larger side still. I probably could have gone with slightly shorter feathers. But for a first attempt, I think it turned out pretty well. Yeah. It works well too. I mean, usually feather fans don't work as well as fabric fans. I really don't. But this one actually works fairly well. It's decent. It functions the way it should. So I actually didn't get to wear them to the dance. I ended up going 1860s instead of 1880s. But I am glad I got this off my list because it's one more thing I don't have to worry about next time an event rolls around when I will be wearing the 1880s stuff. Because I have it done, I might as well use it. Other thing I kind of wish I had done with the fan, I thought about it when I was, later, was I wish I kind of painted the sticks. I was just kind of focused on getting it done. It doesn't look too bad because there is this wood-colored bit in the center of the leaf and the feather. So I'm not, it looks like it belongs. So I'm not as concerned about it, but I do wish I had painted them. I think I have plenty of feathers and several other fans that I can take apart and actually make into another feather fan. And so I think next time I'm going to try painting the sticks. I have some very light, and I'm going to go back to originals. I don't know if I want to paint the sticks black or if I want to do like a gild color or white. I think white would look really good. Anyway, that's another project for another day. But for right now, I mean, those are the 1880s evening accessories. Not my typical time period, but it's something fun to do, and it's nice to branch out every once in a while. Although it seems like I've been branching out a lot lately. But thank you so much for joining me today to make our 1880s evening accessories. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like it and push that little bell notification so that you're notified anytime I upload a new video. And as always, have a fantastic week, and I'll see you back here on Monday.